Good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Make sure you check out jerichogreen.net and mygreengear.com. Now check this shit out. Remember, they said black folks don't have access to fresh fruits and vegetables. They'll never catch me. I've cracked the code. I found a little farmer's market stand that has fresh fruits and veggies. All I can afford. That's so stupid. Who the fuck would say that? Anyway, so you may or may not have heard, but George Gascon, he is the district attorney of Los Angeles. And he was a little bit scared because recently, they recalled the district attorney of San Francisco. Hold on a second. Hold up. You mean to tell me the district attorney of San Fran shithole, aka Needles and Shit, California, the shitty city by the bay, they recalled their district attorney? So they had to send a shiver down wherever George Gascon's spine was supposed to be. Because as soon as he came into office, he's Mr. No Bail, Mr. Reduced Sentences. That ought to make San Angelinos feel real safe. You mean the criminals can get out easier and they'll be in for less time when they do get put in prison? All right. So he's up for recall because of his lackadaisical attitude about punishing criminals. It got to the point where some criminals were tattooing his name on their body because he was looking out for him. Good looking out, Gascon. I'm gonna get you inked. So they needed 500,000 or 500,000 signatures for it to be put on the ballot, for it to be put up to a vote. And apparently they fell, those who were pro Gascon recall, they fell about 50,000 signatures short. And there have been reports that the opposition, Republicans, were not allowed to be in there verifying the count of these signatures, and they're using outdated methods to verify the signature. Because they have your signature on record and they compare it to the signature that you put on the recall sheet, that you wanted a recall on the petition. So they're using some outdated methods. Basically, they're being a little too critical because no one's signature is going to be exactly the same. But they're using outdated methods, and they say that they fell 50,000 signatures short of getting Gascon on the recall ballot or up for a vote to be recalled. 50,000 short? That doesn't sound like a lot of people. Now, if you're from a small town or a smaller city, it is. But there are 10 million people in LA County, which is under the Gascon regime. 10 million people. And you couldn't find 500,000 verifiable signatures, 500,000 to get him on the ballot for a recall? Especially in the face of some recent high-profile tragedies. The lady, the former Olympian Kim Glass, who was hit in the face with a 10-inch bolt by somebody who should have been in prison, somebody who got in trouble recently for the same crime on a woman, attacking a woman. And the race car driver who was stabbed to death at an LA gas station at 5 o'clock in the evening. Again, by somebody who should have been in prison. So in the face of those two high-profile cases, not to mention the ones that go unnoticed, that go unreported on a national level, you couldn't find 500,000 people in LA County out of 10 million to get his name on the recall ballot. So I think that the San Francisco district attorney being recalled must have let them know, oh shit, we can't let this go through. We can't let George Gascon's name get on a recall vote or he's gone. For sure. 10 million people, and you couldn't find a 500,000 who disagree with the way he does his job. Even a good DA in a county that big, you should be able to find a 500,000 people that say, I don't like the way he's doing his job. I want him out of here. Even if you're a good district attorney in somewhere that big. But they couldn't find 500,000 of them. Now, I know California's fucking crazy. I know California is knucking futs. I'm here. I'm living California every day. But it ain't that damn crazy. There are dozens and dozens of cities that are inside LA County, that are in the borders of LA County. Some conservative areas, I know. Conservative and California do not go together normally. I get it. But there are some conservative areas in Southern California that fall inside of the LA County borders. And you could, I mean, you know, they say when it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it must be corruption. That's what I think. George Gascon is a leftist piece of shit. He is part of the Soros tree. You know how in sports and football and shit like that, you have a coach's tree where they say, like, say it's Bill Walsh, one of the greatest NFL coaches ever, coach for the 49ers. There's a Bill Walsh coaching tree. You have Belichick and all of these guys who became great head coaches who were on his staff. These guys who worked for him, they weren't head coaches. They worked for him, and then they became great. But they're connected to Bill Walsh. Whatever their coaching DNA is, you could trace it back to Bill Walsh. So whatever, all these DAs and shit that Soros paid to get in office, I think he donated almost $5 million to George Gascon. So he's part of the Soros tree. He's part of the Soros corruption tree. Because all of these people can be traced back to George Soros. And he's old as fuck, is he? When is he gonna? Never mind. But he's part of that. He's infected by that. He has that cancer in him. So of course you can't trust him. He joined a bunch of other district attorneys to be against Roe v. Wade being turned over, and he wants his state to be, his county to be an abortion sanctuary. So there's another layer of sick fuck added to George Gascon, who won't be recalled because they fell 50,000 signatures short, and people from the opposing side weren't allowed to be in there while they verified them. Huh? Sounds kind of Epstein-y, doesn't it? The guards were on lunch, so to speak, mentally. They were out to lunch, and the cameras didn't work at the exact moment that Epstein was Epsteining himself. Huh? But George Gascon will not be recalled. San Angelinos, you get more of Gascon, who's soft on crime and hard on you. How is that? How is that okay? How does somebody, like I said, even if you're a good DA, with a population that size, you should be able to find 500,000 people that say you suck. You always want somebody to be mad at you. If everybody's happy with you, you're doing something wrong. Did he cheat? You tell me. You know how they look, they look down upon people talking about election results. And it was 4 to 6 times, there were 4 to 6 times more signatures that were found to be invalid in this potential recall than in the 2016 or the 2020 presidential election. That's all I'm going to say about that shit. LA, there you go. And everybody in LA County is not a crazy pink-haired liberal fuck. Some Holly weirdo. The majority of them are not. But for some reason, when you get on the coast, whether east or west, people get crazy. People get all SJW. So like most of California, you have well-meaning, hard-working citizens that get swept up in the voting whims of these idiots. And LA is no different. LA is probably the worst. Well, good luck with that. And I want to see how he prosecutes this case against that Linton woman, that stupid dumbass who killed 6 people by doing 90 through a full intersection, a solid red light. Let's see how he prosecutes that. Because you're stuck with them, LA County. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell, because every time it rings, a piece of shit lefty cries. Utilize the Linktree link. Get your ass over to JerichoGreen.net and MyGreenGear.com. I am Jericho Green. Man up. How?